My brother had to pay $2,000 for my ransom.
She speaks and explains what's going on in Libya to this day. Because as we all know, Arabs are still enslaving black people until this very same day. It is the longest running slave trade in history. For 1400 years, the Arabs have been enslaving black people. They are your biggest enemies, the Arabs, okay? There's no way they should be given a pass for being racist.
I got sold to 3 different men, and that's how I ended up being $2,000. I was a bit more expensive because here's the thing: I've seen where it's not a black market, but it's just a market, and they would make Africans, that they call us donkeys. They always called us donkeys, so they call them donkeys. And they'll make them stand and they're betting money on them. CNN or BBC, it got released, it got leaked. It's like you're going to buy like a chicken or something in a market where you're picking and choosing which one do you want to have. Like, that's how bad it is. And for girls, ouch, something in my eye. And for the girls, you're just a sex slave. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying like, for me to explain. So what I can say is so many other Eritreans that I met there, when they asked them, they all say it's the problem in Eritrea. I'm not gonna lie, I went to Eritrea in 2014. There's no water, okay? The water goes off. There's no electricity. The electric goes out. So it's a full blackout, okay? You can't get a normal job. There isn't a job, you get it. And a lot of the families that are in Eritrea now, the way they're surviving is because we Eritreans that are like for example, let's say my mom is in Eritrea, I send her money. That's how she will be able to live. You get it? So even the immigrants that are in Europe or in America, they're sending money back home to their family. There's no like universities and stuff. There's few colleges, but the government decides for you which line you're going to be working in. Because I have a cousin that studied to be a doctor, and now she's a fucking nurse, okay? She never wanted to be one, but she is. So there's so much things that's happening in Eritrea. I can't speak for Ethiopia because I'm not from there. I haven't been from there. I haven't been there. I can't speak for Somali people because I'm not from there and I haven't been in Somalia. So I can't speak for their issues to why they're going that path. But for me, as Sarah Getachew, when I started that path, I was given a wrong information. Like, everything is safe, nothing happens. In the desert, it's just 4 days. In the water, it's 4 hours. Like, in a week, like, everything goes smooth. Like, nothing will happen. Everything started happening as soon as I left. You get it? And I remember calling my brother and I was crying. I was like, oh my God, they're torturing people. I don't know what to do. People are screaming. Like, grown men are screaming for their mom, A lot of people, this word, Yima, got stuck in my head because that's what most people were screaming. Yima, their mom. And my brother was like, no, Sarah, like, focus. Like, you need to make sure you get out alive. You're in danger now. And yeah, and I did, I'm out. But I watch how they would put a nail on a stick and then they would make them like kneel down and then they would hit them with it on the white part of their feet. Yeah, it don't matter. Don't care about my grammars. Whatever it is, this their like the white part, and then they would put a needle on the stick and then hit them with it so that they can't reproduce, or I don't know why. And they would even shave off their hair and then put kerosene and then make them kneel on the sun and sometimes even lay. There's so many times where I was sitting and they would shoot all the way here. Thank God I made it out without any bullets or anything, or just with my life, you get it? I made it out, but they always shot at me. And there was this woman I never forget. She was pregnant, 5 months. They raped her and tortured her to the point she had a miscarriage. And then they took the baby and they buried him, and then they kept on torturing her. I don't know if she's dead, alive. I don't know what happened to her because we got separated because I got sold. I also remember there was a time we tried to run away. You know, I caught the girls. They were going to run at night. And I was like, fuck it. I'm out with you guys. You know, anything can happen. But let it happen because we were tired. And when they had me for 3 months and 2 weeks. So here in Sweden, I live in Sweden. I am diagnosed with Stockholm Syndrome. Because I really felt like they were like brothers to me, you know. Because I was like, oh my God, like, they're not doing anything. They're taking care of me. But then when I came here, they explained to me, like, I fucked up. I brought this to show you guys.
Look at that, man. She's all drugged up on all types of medication because of the trauma of what happened to her. You know, being all-worded by different Arabs, being enslaved and trafficked by different Arabs. 1400 years versus 400 years. What's worse? Come on now, let's make it make sense. Okay, the transatlantic slave trade was only 400 years. The Arab slavery, 1400 years. They are the most racist group of people on earth because their slavery has lasted the longest. Wake up, black people.
This is all I take for me to function as a normal person. But when I take it, all my colleagues, friends tell me you're like a zombie, Saron. But I have no other choice. You get it? The memories and the mark and the scar that Libya left is not just on me. It's so many other Habish people. They are suffering in silence, you know, and they don't want to talk about these things because then people are like, oh, who told you to go there? Why did you go there? Like, everyone planned for this to happen. If you ask me, not even in a billion years have I ever thought I would get kidnapped and sold, you know? And when they had me, I remember one time when we got kidnapped, it was at night, it was late night, and they came in and they were saying like, Miss Heen, you know, it's like Christians. And then I asked the girl that was with me, like, what are they saying, you know? She told me, she translated. They were like, all these Christians, he cut off their head, you know? And then they asked me if I wanted to be a Muslim. I was like, yeah, like, just don't cut off my head, you get it? I'm like, yeah. And then they changed my name from Saron to Sabrine. And that's when I got to, it felt like I was invisible and I was just witnessing what was happening to the people. I saw when they took a gun and put it to 4 Somali men and they shot them dead, you know. I saw the whole blood, everything explode, and they forced us to clean up the aftermath of what they did, and they brought out the guys, you know, so they can bury the body. They took them with them and they buried the bodies. There were so many other Eritreans also, which they tortured them to the point they died. And I remember one time, there was a time, you know, when we tried to run away. The Libyans called our smuggler, his name was Abdus Salam, he's Eritrean. And they called him and they told him, like, you know, for the girls who tried to escape and we got caught, we were 26. They said send $26,000, you know. And then he sent a taxi, you know, to pick us up. And the taxi man, he had nothing to do with it, but they met him up to the point he died. And then they took away the money. And I remember I was brought out, I was being dragged. And I still remember how his body was laying flat, and then they put the blanket, and then there was so many flies, and his hand was hanging out. And then I was sitting on like it was like a floor sand thing, and they were like trying to force me, and I just froze, you know. That wasn't the first time I saw a body, but that was the first time where I saw someone who had nothing to do with any of this business getting killed. They would also shoot people and throw them into the sea. There is so many Eritreans where I don't want to say Eritrean, let me just say East Africa so everyone can understand. They would gang rape them. They would rape, I can't say rape, I think, but I'm just saying it, but assault them, gang, you know. And then they would also use their pistols and their AK-47 to R-word guys and girls. And sometimes they would just shoot you or shoot you in the leg, whatever they feel like. And they would also sell you to others. And at night, they would come to choose girls who they want to rape. I just say that again, but yeah, who they want to do that. So they have been watching us during the day. So at night, they would come and take us. I remember there was a time where they picked me. You know, I only used to show my eye, and they chose me by my eye. Do you know how sick that is? They made us line up, and they put flashlight, and then they chose me.